Famous Seafood here on Holabird Avenue, a landmark place to come for seafood, good dining in a casual atmosphere. I want to thank our friends Jameson Irish Whiskey and Absolute Vodka. Their drink specials for both brands all night long throughout the evening. And we really do thank them a lot, because without a sponsor like the folks at Absolute and Jameson stepping forward, an event like this is very hard to put on. Purchase an autograph ticket to get any additional autographs this evening. So if you're going to want those, now might be a real good time to scoot back and talk to Ray Schulte of Schulte Auctions and his staff. Ray Schulte of Schulte Sports and SchulteAuctions.com. We thank you for coming tonight. How do you remember the 59 game? The same way these guys do, Jimmy?
Yeah, well, it was, as you said, we're behind 9-7 at the end of the third quarter. I mean, that's not too good. I think it kind of was the way the season was. It seemed like we were always coming from behind, and in the game itself, it was 9-7 at the end of the third quarter. And as I remember it, Andy Nelson intercepted a pass, John Sample intercepted a couple passes, and the defense just kind of took over the game. We end up winning 31-16.
You're right. It was that back and forth kind of for three quarters, and it just didn't. I never thought it had the excitement that the 58 game had. That was. You have to go back to the buildup of that 58 game, because that was the first time that the NFL was going to, their championship game was going to go nationwide.
Television.
Yes, television-wise. And I had people I'm from South Dakota, and good God, here they're thinking, gee, there's some kid out there from South Dakota playing in that game. So, it was to me, it was a great game. And when I walked out of the hotel, we went up there the night before, I walk out, and who's standing beside the bus? My mother, And I'm saying, Mom, what are you doing here? She says, don't worry about anything. I got tickets, everything. We're all set,
You were too cheap to pay every way.
No, wait a minute.
Jimmy sounded downright sentimental about that now, and Artie was talking about how lucky. Have you felt that way all these 50 years, or is that something the older you got, the more you got removed from having played, that you began to appreciate more? Artie? This guy's just happy he got to play the food now.
Hey, you staying there? Get me a Schlitz. It's great, People I see, they say, you remember you had a beer with me? And if I had a beer with everybody in Baltimore that said I had a beer with, I'd have to be 150 years old. But it's great. I love it. The people say, do you remember? I say, yeah, sure. I don't remember any of them. But thank you very much. You're all right.
Hey, how come you're not too cheap to tip him?
Who?
You were going to tip him, weren't you?
I forgot my money.
All right.
I can remember when I was with Dallas, and we got kicked out of the city because they couldn't pay their bills. And then when we found out we were going to Baltimore, I can remember Artie coming up to me and saying, Gino, we're going to Baltimore. You're going to love it there. Because Artie had played here in the Old American Conference. He said, well, how lucky we are. We're going to Baltimore. Of course, when he said that, I didn't know he was the mayor of Baltimore.
Again, we want to take a second to thank our friends here at Jimmy's Famous Seafood and Jameson Irish Whiskey and Absolute Vodka for making the evening. Let's hear it for them. We thank you for coming tonight.